Oh my gosh, why didn't Jalen Hurts do dances and then some twirly whirlies on the table, run around the NovaCare dancing to show how much he is on the same page with Nick Sirianni? What a joke. But let me tell you, Eagle fans, the real thing you should be thinking about is how this is a really good omen for the season. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, kick Dingbat here, and oh my gosh, Jalen Hurts did not yell and speak loud enough about Nick Sirianni. He didn't dance. He didn't get on the table and do his twirly whirlies. He didn't run around the NovaCare. Oh my gosh, how could he not do that for Nick Sirianni? This is what they're talking about, and people are pissed and sick of it. And while everybody is upset about this whole article and this whole thing, this whole nonsensical story, I think it's a very good sign. I think this is a very good omen for the Eagles and this season, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But before I do that, a few things we got to talk about. One, Madden's getting ready to come out. Oh, are you going to get your Madden? Are you going to get your Madden? I already got Madden. I've got Madden 25, I've got Madden 26, I got Madden 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, because it's the same damn game every year. It stinks. All right, when are they going to actually change it? But Adam Schefter reported Christian McCaffrey is officially the cover athlete of Madden 25. To me, being on the cover of Madden does not have the same oomph, we'll say, as it used to. Who cares? The game stinks. I'm actually excited about the college stuff, and people have sent me stuff on the college football game coming back. Madden definitely needs an upgrade, and until there are football games that can compete with Madden, they're just going to keep giving you slop. Believe me, I know firsthand, all right? I know how they work. So, yeah, who cares? Christian McCaffrey on there. I'd rather play the college football. That I can't wait to play. Now, we have been wondering, since the Haason Reddick trade, what the hell is going on? Why would you trade him for a draft pick so far off? What's happening? And then, of course, Haason Reddick does not show up for mandatory minicamp. Ed Kratz wrote this. Howie Roseman got it right again. This time, avoiding the Haason Reddick headache. Here's more on Eagles GM and how the edge rusher of the Jets is their issue now. It was interesting, and Rich Camini wrote this. Reddick's contract, the Pound Jets talked with Reddick camp before the trade, had permission by the Eagles. Reddick reiterated his desire for a new deal. The Jets explained their position. We won't shut the door on a long-term extension, but we'd rather wait, which is meaning we're not giving you one. Jets felt comfortable with the relationship could work and made the trade. Now Reddick is making his contract an issue. I'd be surprised if Douglas doles out a huge extension to a 30-year-old player who hasn't spent time in the building, but there are ways to compromise. The Jets screwed themselves. They thought, we talked to him on the phone a couple times. It was good, whatever. We'll get him in. He'll play, and it won't be an issue. That's what they thought, and they're getting totally screwed. And listen, I would not want to deal with this crap. I would not want to deal with this crap if I were the Eagles right now. I would be so pissed off if Reddick we were going to have to deal with a holdout situation with Reddick. Yeah, that's the Jets' problem. Now it makes sense why Howie traded him, got rid of him, didn't want to deal with this. And I don't blame him. My thought process was, if you go back to right after the Tampa game playoff loss, Reddick says that he wasn't planning a holdout. He said, I'm not going to be holding out. And maybe he won't when camp starts, but that's what he said. Now he's holding out. And I would have liked to see the Eagles keep Reddick, not sign him, let him play the last year's deal out, maybe throw him a little more upfront money for 1 year, but that's it. But having to deal with this stuff, thank God, forget about it, see you later. I'm done with that. So the Eagles, once again, Howie Roseman is proving to be right. He made the right choice. All right, so I want to talk about this Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni thing, and I want to know why Jalen Hurts didn't get on a table and do a bunch of twirly-whirlies for Nick Sirianni. I mean, obviously, he should be giving him a lot of credit for everything that Nick Sirianni has done for him, because Nick Sirianni knows everything and does everything great. This is some ridiculous stuff, right? I know we're in June. I know that there's not a lot to talk about. I get it. But this kind of thing right here with Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, their problem, this is the kind of stuff that, in my opinion, works for the Eagles. This actually works for the Eagles. And I take it as a great sign and a great omen for what's coming up this year. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. Because I guess part of me just thinks it's so ridiculous, right? As many of you guys know, Jalen Hurts had a press conference at the mandatory minicamp last week, and in it, he didn't speak fondly enough or have enough energy or didn't say the things that certain media people wanted him to say, so therefore there's a problem. Well, I'm here to tell you that no matter what Jalen Hurts said at that press conference, they were going to pick it over, find something bad, and then they were going to use it against him and the Eagles. And that's just the way it is. And, I know most of you guys know what I'm talking about. Eagles, Jalen Hurts was a, quote, baby who ticked off the bosses with Nick Sirianni, remarks Jose. And when he had this press conference, there was a lot said on WIP. There was a lot said on 97.5. It's just ridiculous, all right? For those that don't know, this was basically a situation where Hurts was asked a question about Nick Sirianni and him changing, the way he's done things in the past and being more open-minded. Talking about Nick, it was an easy question to talk about the good things Nick has done to change, from last year. And Hurts' response was, that's a great question. I don't know that I know the answer to it. And then there was a follow-up question to it, and Hurts said, listen, Sirianni has been very intentional with what he says, and he's been delivering great messages. That's what Jalen Hurts said. Now, he didn't say it with enough energy. He didn't do twirly-whirlies and dance around. So they're all trying to make a problem. Joe DeCamara said this was a disastrous answer. Disastrous answer. It obviously speaks to a disconnect between the coach and the quarterback. There's probably nothing more important in sports than the connection between the quarterback and the coach. So, therefore, the Eagles must be totally screwed, is what he's trying to say. And then John Kincaid on 97.5 said, the relationship between Hurts and Sirianni needs to be nurtured. Hurts purposefully goes out of his way to not show grace or kindness to Nick Sirianni. Why should he kiss his ass is what I want to know. I think that is a problem, and I think that reflects far more to me on Hurts than Sirianni. First of all, what I have seen multiple times, Sirianni has fallen off the sword publicly for Jalen Hurts because Hurts refused to stand up and take responsibility for his own actions. On what planet has Jalen Hurts not accepted responsibility for his actions? To me, this is all crap. This is all crap. And there's outrage online and social media now, and you're seeing things. And it's not at what Jalen Hurts said. It's at 97.5 and WIP because it's ridiculous. All right? So, yeah, of course, I think it's stupid comments. I think that no matter what Jalen Hurts said, no matter what he said, they were going to find something to attack him with. They were going to find something because they need something to talk about, disagree about, get the fans all riled up about in June. But while people are upset and people are talking about that, I'm like, all right, this is a good sign. This is a good omen. I truly believe this. I truly believe this is the confirmation that I needed to know that my Eagles are going far in the playoffs. Might go back to the Super Bowl now. Because it seems like to me, for whatever reason, it's just the way things work. Whenever the Eagles get this kind of press and they talk about these kind of things early on, This is when the Eagles have their best seasons. Think about it. 2017, what happens? Doug Peterson, he is listed that summer as the dumbest coach in football. The worst coach in football, doesn't know anything, doesn't know what's going on, and secretly Jim Schwartz is really the coach running thing and is the guy that's respected. And it's just a matter of time before Doug Peterson gets fired and Jim Schwartz takes over as head coach. This was the narrative. I remember doing videos on this, okay? Yet, Doug goes out there, head coach, the Eagles go, they win a Super Bowl. Then, the following year, going into that 2018 season, we're Super Bowl champs. There's nothing but good press. What happens? We struggle. Then you get another year of the same thing. The Eagles basically got like a 2-3 year pass because of winning the Super Bowl. Then, when you go to the Eagles just going to the Super Bowl 2022, what happened? You go into that season. What is the talk early in the summer? It's, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are not on the same page. They do not go together on the football field. They may be friends off the football field, but this is clearly not a match made in heaven. It is going to be a huge problem. Devontae Smith is not going to be used, and it's just going to be a mess. And then Jalen Hurts, he probably isn't even the quarterback. That's why the Eagles have 2 first-round picks, and he has been horrible in camp so far, horrible in OTAs. He has not looked good. Why are the Eagles ever going to not play him in preseason when clearly he doesn't look good? What happens? The Eagles go to the Super Bowl. Every year that they trash the Eagles, every year you get stories like this. For whatever reason, and I don't know the answer, the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, or they go really far in the playoffs. So I'm looking at this thing going, all right, thank God. Now we've got confirmation. Eagles are going back to maybe the Super Bowl, or at least the NFC Championship game. Confirmed. They just confirmed it to me, baby, because that's what happens. Every time they come out with these stupid stories, the opposite happens. The Eagles shut them up and prove them wrong. Now, I don't know if the players and coaches, I don't know if they really read this stuff and get fired up about it, or it just happens. But no, they could talk all the crap they want, but I just think they confirmed that the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. There is no problem with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. They don't have to be the best of friends. If they're not, they just got to work together and get the job done. And I'm sure they are. But I'm sure it's not a problem. This is all a bunch of crap. But the thing that the Eagles fans should take out of this, don't worry about and don't get caught up in with WI pieces or nice stuff. Don't let it get you all pissed off. Just take it and say, here we go again. This is exactly what happens when the Eagles get ready to go on a run. They have a great offseason where they go out crazy in free agency in the draft, which we did. And then they have these stories early in summer about how everything's on the verge of collapse and how bad it is, only to get proven wrong with a big run. And I expect that from the Eagles. So I take it as a good omen. Here we go. Confirmation. Eagles are going very, very far in the playoffs this year. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat, remember. It's how we vision, baby. We're all just living in it. You know what it takes to get a good NFL football game, really? We might be getting a good football game with the college, but to get a really good football one, all it would take would be the NFL to give out licensing to 1 or 2 other software companies. You give out the licensing to 1 or 2 of those, they will come out with a great football game. And then EA Sports will have to react, and they will have to up their game. And then all of a sudden, you have competition between studios that are trying to make the best football game. And who benefits? Us. Otherwise, if you have a monopoly on it and you don't have to do anything because you got all the licensing, you don't do anything but just re-upload your game that you do every year and then change the players' names and numbers. Big deal. Denzel Washington out.